Movies have been with us for more than a century now, from simple small scale black and white movies to now big budget technological advanced movies with complex storylines. A lot has changed over time, but the core still remains the same. Why do we watch movies? For a conscious mind, they entertain it, makes it learn something, or acts as a source to escape reality. But subconsciously, they influence your attitude, beliefs, and behavior. Every time you watch a screen, you are in a state of trance, a sort of mild hypnosis that affect your mind at a certain level. Anything you watch on a screen is sent like a bullet inside your brain, impacting everyday decisions along with your surroundings. So what you watch not only changes your outlook on life, but also your personality. Let's look at it from a different angle. Everyone has heard the term propaganda. Propaganda is a powerful tool during a war. It can dehumanize and easily create hatred towards your enemy by creating a false image in the mind of soldiers and citizens. During World War II, cinema was the most popular form of entertainment. It was an important means of distributing propaganda by entertaining, lifting spirits, motivating, and informing the audience about the ongoing war. In America, the film industry stereotyped Hitler and the Nazis as cold hearted with an authoritarian regime. It helped keep continuous public support towards the war effort and to justify their harsh actions. Movies can easily mend the minds of people and the opinions towards any subject. In India, cinema came as a boon and showed a lot of room in the initial stage for growth and development, starting from the classic silent films of the 1890s to 1920s to the golden age from 1940s to 1960s. In India, the cinema was divided by language. The Hindi language film industry, also known as Bollywood, representing the majority, Tamil and Telugu film industries, and Bengali cinema, which was largely associated with the parallel cinema movement. Ingenuity was at its peak, along with the highest efforts. The forefathers of Indian cinema played their role very well in establishing an industry for the upcoming generation. Only did they knew what was going to happen to it in the 20th century, they would have burned it down themselves. Everything was going great from late 1940s to 1980s, but soon after the 1990s, everything was going in the reverse direction. After the 1990s, the majority of people working in the industry mainly consisted of the children and grandchildren of the already stayed actors of the 1970s. Even today, the newcomers are far from being good actors or even being called the word actors. Nepotism is a word common to many. Granted, there were and are good actors and directors throughout the time, but it makes no sense of thinking that the child can be the same. Out of the total movies made in a year, about 5 to 10% are good, but are buried under the rest 90% movies in which the directors spend more time deciding on how to explode a freaking car than making a good story. Majority of scripts from movies have somewhat the same storyline. One guy, one girl, how they meet, get married, or die. Guy turns out to be a low quality badass who is always going against the girl's family, ex boyfriend, or a fucking criminal. And don't even make me start about the problems with the Indian television industry before the Netflix and Amazon craze came in. Realism and effect ranks way below the uncanny songs and not so great dialogues. As Indians, we may say that we are good with science, but when it comes to physics in movies, well, you get what I'm talking about. The problem has been out there for so long that the audience is adapted to it. They are so accustomed to seeing thousands of cheap movies that they no longer understand what is a good one. There have been no room for imagination. The Indian cinema works really hard to plagiarize content from movies of other countries and arrange them to look like a new one. Nowadays, the new trend is to copy the films along with the music from old Indian movies and pushing buttons on a keyboard to add a few beats to make a new one. Moreover, the young filmmakers of India idolize the great directors like Christopher Nolan or Martin Scorsese. But they don't understand that by being influenced by such big directors, they set their bar so high that most of the youngsters will not be able to achieve the mark and thus make them quit their profession. I'm not saying that it gives me great pride in saying that the majority of movies made why my country sucks. Quite the opposite. Good movies or series are necessary for every society to help the young generation feel ambitious, give them the ability to reason, and provide them with wonders. Whereas bad movies will adversely affect their mind, clouding their judgment and making their actions exactly like the slapstick characters they watch.